Reawaken is all about upgrading your biology. It sounds like something a superhero might do, but actually, it's possible now for everyone on the planet. Why would you upgrade your biology? We live in the most incredible times, and I know it seems like a bit of a seat gripper these days, but what is happening is that the positive future is coming towards us. Now, I know that on a daily level, you are going through many things which will make you feel like that the opposite is happening right now. But actually, what is occurring is that all the stuff that shouldn't be here is being purified out of this reality and it is leaving. So it has to get worse before it gets better. And what you're seeing now is everything really coming to the surface. It's ugly, it's difficult, and people use this word unethical a lot these days because what they're seeing and what they're being asked to do is really not in line with anything, even the principles that used to be followed that were called ethical. But because everything is breaking down that's not aligned, nothing fits in any of the containers or the structures, and the rules don't work anymore, and everything's being recalibrated. And the same thing is happening to your body as well. Your body is breaking out of previous parameters and it's taking on a much bigger template at a higher frequency. That doesn't mean that you're ascending or that we're all going to another planet or anything like that. It actually means that you are dropping all of the unnecessary load of the oppression in this reality and all the stuff that's been going on that really shouldn't have been. And that's why it's so difficult to deal with on a daily level, because now nothing makes sense. Nobody followed the old stuff. Nobody's following the new stuff. The old stuff didn't work. And even those who pretended to follow the old stuff weren't doing it anyway. And actually, half the time, you weren't either, were you? Because none of it really made sense. And your body tracking is something that goes more along the lines of nature's principles. In our reality, it's actually nature's principles that rule. But these have all got covered up. And slowly we've gone off in a different direction. And we've started listening to these people in suits or things that are written down on pieces of paper called laws. And it's not that we should ignore any of those things, but what's happening is that there is a much louder voice starting to issue, both inside and outside, which is the real deal. And that's nature. Nature works according to purity. Sometimes I call that universal law as well. And we are all synchronizing there while all this other stuff messes up, drops away, is questioned and challenged. And while we still have a few people hanging on who really want to dominate this reality, who are finding out that everybody else has just left them behind and they're all doing something else. When we upgrade our biology, our instructions inside our body are actually pushing nature's voice more strongly inside us, and we are conforming with that pattern and that structure there. And what happens is that we literally wake up again to this reality, not the way it was or the way we think it is, but the way it actually is. And that's quite a shock because there's so much conditioning, there's been so much programming and brainwashing. And now stuff on the inside seems so completely ludicrous and what we don't agree with. There is a massive difference between what is inside and outside. But that's quite helpful, right? Because you don't listen to or look at the outside stuff quite so much anymore because that inner voice is getting much louder. And when that voice gets much louder, then everything on the outside, however stupid or scary it gets, it just doesn't seem to matter so much because you've got something else. That's your personal instructions. They've been there all the time. It's nothing to do with your DNA or anything like that, which is what we're told is this immutable thing that's set in stone, that's always with us and determines our reality. Actually, it doesn't. It's just a receiver, and that's all. We determine reality. The human being shapes what happens here. And if we are synchronized with our personal instructions, and if we are aligned with purity and we are following through on those instructions and what's going on in us, that voice, then we are given this beautiful gift, which is part of being alive on this planet, which is all about experiencing, choosing, making decisions, and changing things. There's so much in this reality that says you can't change it, you never will. And even the scientific models tell you your DNA is set in stone and all this kind of stuff. But actually, when you are functioning at a certain frequency, you can change all of it. And guess what? Now that frequency is everywhere on the planet. It's unstoppable. So if we can move out of our previous way of functioning and we can move into listening to our personal instructions, then we can start to transform things little by little, first of all in our daily lives and the way that we react to things. And then we can really synchronize more deeply with what we're hearing on the inside. And then we can make bigger changes, which will have a very big effect on those around us. So, how do we listen to our personal instructions? Because we're so programmed there, even, aren't we? Because we're always expecting a teacher to come into the room and go, now, children, this is how you do it. And they give you the steps, and then you do it. And if you're a good boy or a good girl, then you get it right. But nature just doesn't function that way. First of all, there's never a voice. And if there is, you should be a bit worried because there's something else in with you. But that's another subject. You don't get any voice telling you what to do. And also, even though there are people on the outside in your life who you listen to, and there's millions of people out there all the time telling you what to do, we all know that in the end, you have to decide what to do. And you have to pick up on something inside you to make that decision. So, what is that exactly? Is it your emotions or feelings? No, absolutely not, because they are wired up with all that stuff that is connected with the programming. And your emotions are there just to color your life and to give you more outcomes and possibilities for choosing. They're not actually part of that inner dictionary or that lexicon, that way of being. So, what is it then? Where are these personal instructions? They are in the balance of forces in your physical body. They're not up there, over there, down there, or out there. They're not even in there in the same place every single time. They are based on this shifting momentum of vitality and life that is actually your live stream. You can feel sometimes in your body a texture where there's more ease or expansion, or where things feel like you're pushing too hard. You get that little thing, that inner communication, which is not verbal, but is something very fine that's like an inner communication in the softness. That's where it is. You may get an emotional or mental reaction to that. And that's in the unseen realm as well as your personal instructions. But it's not the part of the unseen realm where your emotions lie. It's deeper than that. Let's say you're out for a run and sometimes you can feel, today I'm going to go this way. And it's more on the level of an instinct, which is visceral, and your body even seems to have more looseness if you turn in that direction rather than going in the other. This is how we register our personal instructions, and then we bring into our being that live stream of purity where we can make transformation happen and we can register it more consciously.